The summer heat had settled over Cody Shepard's ranch like a heavy blanket. Dust swirled up behind his ATVs as he checked fence lines, dogs trailing at his heels. To Cody, 56 years old, and weathered by years of hard work, this land wasn't just property, it was blood, sweat, and family legacy. But that peace was shattered the day he found bright green survey flags driven into his soil. At first, he thought it was some drifter, maybe a county road crew who got lost.
But when he
Yanked one from the dirt, he saw the stamp. Property of Clearwater Community Association. Cody scowled. Not this nonsense again. Within a week, letters started showing up in his mailbox. Not the usual junk mail, but heavy, official-looking envelopes stamped with seals. Notice of ecological seizure read the first one. Apparently, the HOA claimed his cattle operations were disrupting the watershed and harming community property values. The solution? Cody was to cease operations immediately and submit a remediation plan. He laughed, then cursed, then fed the paper straight into his wood stove. His land sat 5 miles outside Clearwater's subdivision. They had no authority here, but the HOA didn't stop. Next came notice of boundary adjustment. According to their doctored maps, Clearwater now claimed jurisdiction over a swath of Cody's ranch. Right down to his main water well, Cody slammed the letter on the kitchen table. They're trying to redraw my land on paper and hope nobody notices. A few mornings later, Cody spotted a white pickup bouncing up his gravel road. The doors bore magnetic decals. County Environmental Division. 2 men climbed out wearing hard hats and reflective vests. One carried a clipboard. "Morning," Cody called, hand resting on the butt of his revolver. "Can I help you?" "Teen. Water inspection," the taller man said smoothly. "We've had reports of contamination. Need to check your wellhead." "Got paperwork?" Cody asked. They flashed badges, but something about them looked off. Cheap laminates. The county. Seal-printed crooked dot. Cody narrowed his eyes. "County doesn't inspect private wells without notice." "Try again," the shorter man sneered. "You want to play hardball? That'll go in our report." "Go ahead," Cody said, stepping closer. "You're not stepping foot past this. Gate unless you've got a warrant. Now get in your truck." The two exchanged glances, muttered curses, and drove off in a cloud of dust. Cody spat in the dirt. Fake county inspectors, HOAs, getting bold. That night, Cody heard his dogs barking like hellfire. He grabbed a flashlight and rifle. Jogging toward the eastern pasture, the beam caught movement, 2 figures sprinting away toward the tree line. Behind them, Cody found fresh rebar stakes jammed into the ground and barbed wire stretched low across the cattle path. It was a death trap. Any cow running that trail would snap a leg. Cody's jaw clenched as he cut the wire down. His livestock weren't just animals, they were livelihood. Someone wanted to cripple him financially, inch by inch. He didn't bother calling the sheriff. As too many times before, the deputies had shrugged. Civil dispute, they called it. Cody knew Clearwater had friends in the county office. No if. He wanted protection. He'd have to build his own case. The next day, Cody drove into town and bought 2 drones with night vision cameras. He strung up new trail cams along his fence lines, disguised in mesquite branches. Even mounted one on the windmill facing his well. Every night, he reviewed the footage, and soon enough, the truth surfaced. On one grainy clip, 3 men in suits were caught standing by his north gate, pointing at his land. The audio picked up just enough. County clerk will sign it if we grease him. Once water rights transfer Shepard's finished, Cody leaned back in his chair, jaw tight. This wasn't just harassment. It was a coordinated land grab. Word traveled fast in ranch country. Old man Delaney from the next property over stopped by one afternoon. "Cody, you seen these flyers?" He handed over a folded sheet. Across the top, community expansion proposal, bringing Clearwater, quality to your neighborhood. The flyer showed maps of the subdivision extending over Cody's ranch, with bullet points about new recreational trails and protected watershed areas. At the bottom, in fine print, all properties subject to HOA bylaws upon integration. Cody's blood ran cold. They weren't just threatening him, they were selling his ranch as part of their development scheme. Delaney shook his head. They're Telling folks you're behind on taxes that you're planning to sell? You better get ahead of this, Cody. Cody's hands curled into fists. They want to fight? They've got one. That evening, Cody sat on his porch, staring at the fields, glowing in the fading sun. His father's words echoed in his memory. This land is ours until we give it away. He wasn't about to give it away. Cody opened his notebook and began writing down everything. Dates, times, license plates, even the crooked badge numbers of the fake inspectors. He'd build a record so thick no judge could ignore it, but he knew evidence alone wouldn't be enough. Clearwater had money lawyers, county insiders in their pocket. Cody would need to expose them publicly, drag their dirty tricks into the light where they couldn't hide. And deep down, he felt a fire building. This wasn't just about him anymore. If Clearwater could roll over his ranch, they'd do it to every rancher in the county. The battle lines were drawn. Cody knew Clearwater's next move wouldn't be subtle. The HOA had tried intimidation, sabotage, and propaganda. When none of that broke him, they turned to their strongest weapon, the courts. It started with a certified letter delivered by the county clerk himself. Notice of lien foreclosure proceedings. According to the document, Cody owed nearly $400,000 in back. Ecological impact fees, penalties supposedly racked up over years of unauthorized cattle operations. Cody laughed bitterly. They'd invented debts out of thin air. But the paper bore real signatures, notarized stamps, even a court date. Clearwater wasn't playing games anymore. On a muggy Tuesday, Cody walked into the county courthouse, boots echoing on the tile. Across the aisle sat the Clearwater board, 6 men in tailored suits, smug grins plastered across their faces. Their lead attorney, a slick-haired man named Richards, wasted no time. Your Honor, the defendant has been operating in violation of county environmental codes for years. He owes fees, penalties, and assessments authorized under the Clearwater Community Association Charter. We seek immediate foreclosure. Judge Meyer raised an eyebrow. Mr. Shepard, do you have counsel? Cody stood tall. I'll represent myself. Meyer frowned. That's unwise. Maybe, Cody said, but no one knows this land better than me. Richards began parading witnesses. A so-called environmental inspector who claimed Cody's cattle polluted streams. A surveyor who swore Clearwater's maps were accurate. Each held binders full of glossy exhibits. Cody, let them talk. He knew the judge was listening, but he also knew the whole show was built on lies. When it was his turn, he walked to the evidence table and set down a laptop and a stack of printed transcripts. Your Honor, I'd like to submit video evidence. The bailiff wheeled in a monitor. Cody clicked play. On the screen, grainy night vision footage showed 2 men stringing barbed wire across his cattle path. Their faces were clear. Behind them, a 3rd man in a Clearwater polo shirt gave orders. Gasps echoed through the courtroom. Cody's voice was steady. These men don't protect the environment. They tried to cripple my herd. Next, he played audio from his drone. County clerk will sign it if we grease him. Once water rights transfer, Shepard's finished. Judge Meyer leaned. Forward? Is that who I think it is? Cody nodded. That's Clearwater's vice president conspiring to bribe a county official. Richards sputtered, objection. This material is inadmissible, unauthorized surveillance. Meyer banged his gavel. Overruled. The recordings appear authentic. Continue, Mr. Shepard. Cody pulled out another stack of papers. Certified. Deeds, tax receipts, water rights, registrations, dating back 70 years. This is my family's land, paid for, fair and square. I owe nothing to Clearwater, because Clearwater has no authority here. Their maps are forged, their liens fabricated. He slid another document forward. And here's a notarized statement. From the county recorder's office, confirming that no such environmental fees exist on county books. These charges were manufactured out of thin air. The courtroom buzzed. For the first time, the Clearwater board looked uneasy. Then came the blow that shattered the case. Cody called a witness of his own, Ellen Morris, Clearwater's former secretary, a petite woman in her 60s. She walked shakily to the stand. Under oath, her voice trembled. I can't keep quiet anymore. They They pressured me to file fake notices. They told me if I didn't sign off, I'd lose my pension. These liens against Mr. Shepard, I typed them myself under Richard's orders. The room went dead silent. Richard's face turned red. Just lying. But Ellen held up a USB drive. I kept the emails. Every single one. Judge Meyer's gavel cracked. Bring them forward now. By the afternoon, Clearwater's, the entire case had crumbled. What began as an attack on Cody ended as a full-blown fraud investigation. The judge adjourned the hearing, ordering the sheriff's office to seize Clearwater's financial records. As the suits shuffled out, their smug confidence gone, Cody caught Richard's eye. The lawyer looked nervous. A week later, the local paper ran a front-page headline, Clearwater HOA under fraud investigation, rancher vindicated. Reporters camped at Cody's gate, snapping photos of his cattle grazing peacefully. Neighbors stopped by with casseroles and handshakes. About time someone stood up to them, Delaney said, tipping his hat. You gave the rest of us hope. Cody wasn't finished. At the next county meeting, he stood before the packed hall. The same flyers Clearwater had spread about expansion. They wanted to sell my ranch as if it were theirs, Cody said, voice steady. They bullied, they bribed, they lied. If we don't shut them down, they'll try again with someone else.
Ow!
The crowd erupted in applause.
Ow!
By month's end, Clearwater's board had resigned in disgrace. Their assets frozen under federal probe. Cody didn't celebrate with champagne. Instead, he hosted a community barbecue on his ranch. Neighbors, ranchers, even folks from town showed up, set up long tables under the oaks, smoke rising from the pit as kids ran through the fields. When folks asked why, Cody shrugged. This land isn't just mine. It's part of all of us. They tried to take it, but we stood together. As the sun dipped low, he planted a new sign at his gate. Not a warning, not a threat, just bold black letters on clean white wood, private. Ranch free and unbroken. The crowd cheered. For Cody, the victory wasn't just legal, it was personal. The HOA had tried to erase his legacy with paper and lies. Instead, he'd carved his defiance into history. Clearwater was finished. Cody Shepard's ranch would endure.